Hi, this is Kara from KB Crochet. This is part 4 of my video tutorial for how to make a toddler bathrobe size 2T to 3T. This particular tutorial will show you how to make the sleeves and the belt. For the first 3 parts of this tutorial, which show you how to make the rest of the bathrobe, please visit my channel or find the link to the written pattern and the video tutorials in the description for this video below. If you have any questions about this pattern, please feel free to leave your questions in the comment section for this video. You are now ready to start your sleeve. To do the sleeve, you're going to join your yarn with a slip stitch to this armhole and crochet 22 stitches around. Now, you can just do that straight up, but you will notice that at the bottom and the top where the front and the back connect, there is a little bit of an extra gap. If that bothers you, and when you're finished, I don't know that it makes a huge deal because these the sleeves aren't tight around the arm, so they don't get stretched, so you really won't see the gaps. But in case, you can insert your hook into the last stitch on one side and the first stitch on the other, and join those with a slip stitch. Again, that's not necessary. You can simply join your yarn to the armhole with a slip stitch and work 22 around. But I know some people, I know that gap would bother some people. So just in case, we'll get rid of it. You're then going to double crochet 11 on the back side or the first side of your sleeve and 11 on the front. And if you start at the top and work down, that's okay too. I just work at the bottom and around to the top. So these are going to seem a little bit widely spaced at first, but again, it doesn't stretch. And I'm really struggling with this stitch here. Okay, let's try that again. So there is our first double crochet. There's 1. There's 2, there's 3, there's 4, 5, and 6, and that puts you right about to the middle of that first side. There's 7, 8, 'Kay. Sometimes it is easy to just get one loop, but you really do want to try and get at least 2. It's okay if it happens then because it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really stretch a lot. 9. 10. 11. So you now have 11 stitches around, so you're halfway through. That one's kind of loose at the bottom. I'm going to redo that one. Speaking of perfectionists, there's 11. Now to do the second half of that sleeve, if you're worried about this gap up at the top, and again, you could just keep going around if you're not worried about it. It really is not going to be a huge gap and it won't be terribly noticed. But if you are worried about it, simply yarn over like you're going to do your next double crochet. Insert your hook into the last little stitch on, or the top of that last slip stitch on one side, and then insert it into the first hook stitch on the other side where you place your thing, and pull through both the first side and the second side. That way you've kind of joined those together with a slip stitch as part of your next double crochet. So to do that again, what I did was I inserted my hook right next to where I did that last stitch on one side of the seam. Oh, sorry, first you need to yarn over because we're going to do a double. So you insert your hook on one side and then insert it on the other side of that seam. So instead of just being inserted in one stitch, you're inserted in two. Yarn over and pull through both of those stitches. And then you just complete your double crochet like normal, and then that gap is eliminated. And again, you don't have to do that. It's just an easy way to get that gap out of the way without having to stitch it up later if it bothers you. Again, but it may not even be a big deal. You'll notice when you get done and actually put this on someone. So now we need to get the remainder of our 11 stitches. We have 10 left into these stitches here, and you will want to make sure that you end close to where you joined before, so that you've got the stitches that you begin with and the stitch that you end with close enough together that you don't have a huge gap in the arm at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to insert our hook into the next space. There's the one we just did was 1, so there's 2. There's 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And our last one here is 11. You're then going to join to the top of your first one with a slip stitch, and you now have 22 stitches around. You now have exactly where you need to do your stitches because we've got the tops of our double crochets, and you've completed the first round of your sleeve. To start your second round, you're going to chain 2, and do a decreased double crochet over those first 2 stitches. So you'll yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, pull up your second stitch, and pull through 2, and pull through all 3. You're then going to do 1 double crochet in each of the next 18 stitches around. There's 1, 2. You're going to want to be careful that on this one you're not accidentally getting 2 stitches in the same, 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Here's 3. It's really easy to do with this yarn because it's bulkier, and so those stitches sometimes look like there should be another one there. It kind of tricks you a little bit. Okay, so now we have our decrease and 4. We need 14 more. Here's 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. And 18. Good. You will now have 2 unworked stitches, and you're going to decrease double crochet over those 2. There's insert 2. Okay, and then you're going to join to the top of your first one. So that first decreased double crochet with a slip stitch. And you now have your second round done, and you should have 20 stitches around. To do the third round of the sleeve, you're going to start with chain 2 and a decreased double crochet over the first 2 stitches. That includes the one that your chains are in, because again, I don't count those chains as the first stitch. There's your decreased double crochet. You're now going to do a double in each of the next 16 stitches around. Make sure you're careful that you get 1 in each stitch. You don't get 2 in one, or you will end up with the wrong count at the end, obviously. And it's really easy to do that with this yarn. There's 1. There's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13, 14, 15, and 16. Man, I'm struggling with that one today. There we go. Here's 16. Okay. Now when you get to the end, you should have 2 unworked double crochets from the last round. You're going to do a decreased double crochet in those 2. And you're going to join. Sorry, gotta flip my work so you can see what I'm doing here. Join to the top of the first one from the previous round with the slip stitch. And you now have a round of 18 stitches going into round 4. Okay, for round 4, we're going to do our last decreased round. There's 2 chains, and then you're going to decrease double crochet over those first 2. Then you're going to do 1 double crochet in each of the next 14 stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay, then you're going to finish up that round. You have 2 unworked double crochets at the end. You're going to finish that round up. With a decreased double crochet over those last 2 stitches. And join to the top of your first stitch in the round. And then for the next rounds, you're simply going to chain 2 and work 1 double crochet in each stitch around, which will be 16 double crochets. And you'll do that for anywhere from 6 to 8 more rounds so that you have a total of 10 to 12 rows in your sleeve. 10 rows will not give you a lot of room for a cuff at the end, so if you want a cuff, I recommend that you do the 12. If you want a larger cuff, or if you want to be able to cuff it a few times, you're going to want to do it even longer. And just remember that each one of these is going to be about an inch long, and the average arm length for a size 2T is, I believe, 9 inches and 9.5 for a 3T. So 10 inches is really not going to give you room for a cuff. So if you want that cuff at the end, I would recommend you do at least 12, if not a few more. When you've finished that sleeve, you're simply going to repeat the entire sleeve process on the other armhole and finish off. Once you have that other sleeve completed, you will be all done with the main body part of your robe and will only need to do the belt. So once you've got that done, you can actually go through and weave in any unworked ends that you haven't already crocheted over. It's a good time to try it on your model if you've got them present, although I tend to try mine on several times throughout the process just to be sure. Other than that, we're almost done. To make the belt, you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to skip the first 2 and do a double crochet into the 3rd chain, from your hook, and 1 into, the 4th. So you'll have your chains, which again, even for this part, I don't count as my first stitch, and you'll have 2 double crochets. You're then going to chain 2 more and repeat that row, 1 double crochet in each of those. And you'll just keep doing rows of 2 double crochets until your belt is as long as you would like it to be. I'm planning to do this one about 45 to 50, which is the right length for a size 2T to 3T. You can make it smaller if you like the looks of it when it's smaller, or if it seems too small, you can certainly make it bigger. There's no set size for the belts. When you're finished, you'll just finish off on the other end, weave in your ends, and that's your complete belt. You have now finished your size 2T to 3T crocheted robe. You can add belt loops if you choose to. I don't, because with my daughter they'd be absolutely pointless, but it's an option that you can add if you choose to. When my daughter wears hers, we always fold the hood back so she can see out of it a little bit easier, and then it opens up the neck a little bit more too. But that is completely optional depending on how you want the robe to fit. You can also choose to roll up the sleeves if you want, or if your child has longer arms, or if you didn't do as many rows for your sleeves, you can leave them unrolled. That's all personal preference. Thank you for watching these tutorials. If you have any questions about this pattern or about any of my other patterns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section of this video. For the other parts of this tutorial, or for tutorials on my other patterns, please visit my channel. And for written patterns, you can find the link to my blog in the description for this video. Thank you and happy crocheting.